And so Dave Voorhis was looking after the undergraduate side, and Marcello Travati, the postgraduate side. And my role really is kind of big data analytics champion within the School of Computing and Maths at Derby. And I've sort of been very, very interested in this. And I mean, although I'm really interested in big data analytics itself and the answers, the actionable answers we can get, my own focus particularly is on governance, because there are an awful lot of issues relating to governance around big data, the Internet of Things, and all of that stuff that's growing at the rate of, well, Moore's law is governing the growth of data. We heard yesterday 90% of data is, what, less than 2 years old. And if Moore's law is starting to hit the rate of growth of data, we've got some serious, interesting questions, particularly as one of IBM's guys, John Easton, pointed out, something like 80+% of all of the data that's coming out of the Internet of Things and big data in general is actually of uncertain veracity. It's not that it's wrong, or all of it, but we don't know which bits are wrong. So that's my focus. And so we're beginning to develop some really quite strong programs, and I want to link the way that we're developing our programs to some of the stuff we've already looked at yesterday with EDC, looking at skills profiles and so on. And I want to introduce a set that we're using in the United Kingdom, which kind of help us to focus on what are the skills which we need to deliver, and how do those align with what industry is using, particularly the IT side of industry. And so that's the focus of this one. Well, we know these contexts. What's really important is businesses are saying they want this fantastic number of graduates out of our institutions by 2018. Well, that's basically the year that our current graduates who are entering university, particularly if they have a year of placement in between, so they're doing 4 years, those guys have got to be recruited and actually active in our institutions today, which clearly hasn't happened. So the question is, what is industry going to do? What's their plans B, their plan C, plan D? How can we work in partnership with people like IBM, our institutions of higher education, training colleges, and partnership with the industry who actually need these people? And Marcellus was telling us a rather great story there about how you can build that partnership. In the past, computer science has been very, very technology focused. But as we've heard yesterday and this morning, multidisciplinary skills and teams are absolutely crucial, which just kind of makes the unicorn problem even worse. So very briefly, this shows how we fit. We are now, as the Department of Computing and Maths, we're within the College of Engineering and Technology, which is kind of great because that multidisciplinarity, at least in terms of things like smarter cities, smarter buildings, smarter countries, and is kind of a useful place to be. But we're not quite in with business in quite a simple way. We have in the scheme a whole range at undergraduate level, informatics, computer science, network security, and so on. But what we now are developing is what we call the Joint Honors Program. So we're actually providing students who are following other subjects, social science and so on, with opportunities to link with analytics and informatics. Now, one of the interesting things is you guys in IBM and others have been doing a whole lot of work, but also I got an email yesterday about a big survey that a company called SAS had just recently done, looking at skills. And there's a link at the bottom, and I would encourage you to go to that link and find out what's going on there, and also IBMers and all our other people here to go and take that data science skills profile. It's using the DSIC profiling system, and they're wanting to find out what makes a good data scientist, a good analytics, and it's really rather interesting because it helps complement the work that EDC are doing and many other organizations, and it's really rather interesting. And it makes that really important point. Yeah, we can do the technical stuff, that's computer science. We can do the mathematical talents, that's our maths colleagues. but it's making the point. We need business-savvy graduates. We need really good communicators. People who can tell the story, not just present graphs and network diagrams and so on, and then leave the audience, the business guys, to kind of interpret it. There's a guy down at MIT called Professor Hidalgo. He is amazing. I saw him at a conference, a keynote speaker, about 4 or 5 weeks ago. And he showed some of his work that his group had been doing. And he just showed a few sets of data. And then standing there, he just told the story of what the data meant, what the visualizations meant. And he was a magic example of the unicorn that we need to get some of those elements of communication skills. Do we need, and it leads into thoughts of how we build our actual programs, our actual modules that fit into the programs. So we've got this. We've now got the BSc IT Informatics one, which we're now morphing into an analytics program to some extent. We're launching a new MSc Big Data Analytics in January. And we have these joint honors where we're going to get students from maths, geography, history, accounting, business, and so on, to be able to do analytics as half of their program, so that they can get this multidisciplinarity, find value in that data that their discipline gets. We're not trying to turn them into full analytics-capable graduates, but they will understand how data, how information can be turned into a useful story about their field. This just gives, I won't dwell on this. You can have a look at it later on and see the sort of programs that can link with analytics. It's the columns 1, 2, and 4 are the ones who are capable of using our program because of timetabling issues. I won't cover this very much, but it just shows you the types of modules and topics that are going to go with this transdisciplinarity program. This is our master's program, which we're launching very shortly. But the thing I want to concentrate on particularly is how we get our students to understand the value of what they are doing in their academic work, to link that into their future job career skills requirements in a way that they can document what level of skill they have achieved in what item, so that when they apply for jobs, they can document their applications with evidence. I have this level of skill. And in the UK, we have the Sophia Skills for an Information Age criteria, which is used by much of the IT industry as part of their CPD program, for their development program, their rewards programs, and also job advertising. They identify the skill levels or skill types and the level from 1 to 7. 1, supervision required most times. 7, setting strategy. And one of the interesting things with our students is that many of the students I'm teaching in our BSc IT are already producing some output at level 7. They are defining strategy, because that's part of their assessment process, is to develop strategies. It develops their confidence as well. They know what they're achieving actually relates to the future job market. So have I gone past one? Yeah. But more than that, as we now move into a new round of program development, we are going to be basing much of what we're doing on the skills frameworks, the Sophia framework and the new National Occupational Standards scheme, which the eSkills UK have just produced in collaboration with organizations like IBM, which define criteria at 4 levels for data analysis, data management, and data science. And so that's what we're going to be using, rather than some of the sort of national academic programs, skill levels and descriptors. We're going to be working much more closely with the sort of stuff that we've been seeing from EDC yesterday, the sort of things in the eSkills National Occupation Standards, so that we can define much more clearly the skill levels and skill types that are required so that the students can have much more confidence and the employers will have more confidence in the type of students that they are recruiting. So for the future, we're just starting to think about a new BSc in sort of full big data science program, probably to launch in September 2015 if we can manage that. And we're also thinking about a new range of master's programs as well, so as we can become one of the leading analytics-related universities in the country. That's our idea. And to do that, we will need our strategic alliance with a range of relevant experts, IBM and many others. And an opportunity like tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday in the Insight 2014 is a place where we and you can actually make some of those contacts, which will help you build those strategic relationships, which will help your students. So I'd encourage anyone who can to really make contact with as many of these partners, IBM business partners, in the reception tonight. And that will be really helpful because it's a fantastic opportunity. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll hand over to the next.